Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis, and welcome to Music Theater Theory. June is a very special month because it's Pride Month. Yay! So to celebrate, today we're doing an analysis from one of my favorite LGBTQ plus musicals, Fun Home. Fun Home is a musical with music by Janine Tesori and book and lyrics by Lisa Crone. In 2015, it became the first musical written entirely by women to win the Tony Award for Best Musical. So it marks a great achievement for queer representation and for the representation of women on the Broadway stage. It's based on the graphic novel memoir of the same name by Alison Bechtel. The memoir tells the story of Alison's childhood growing up lesbian in Pennsylvania and her relationship with her father, who was a closeted gay man, and his repression of his sexuality eventually led to his abuse of minors and to his suicide at the age of 43. The musical focuses on Alison at the age of 43, looking back on her experiences and kind of comparing herself at her age to her father, grappling with the ways in which she is similar to her father and the ways in which she hopes to be different from him. This song, Changing My Major, is sung by the college-age version of Alison, kind of in Alison's memory as she looks back at her experiences discovering her sexuality in college. In the foreword to this vocal selections book, Lisa Crone has written the following about writing this song. We had initially written college-age Alison's coming out scene with a melancholy tone. That would be how adult Alison would remember those events, as the catalyst for her father's suicide. But we realized that the 19-year-old wouldn't have those associations. So when we rewrote the scene, we rewrote it far more effectively as a joyful opening into a world of wondrous possibility. And that's exactly what this song is. A very joyful, blunt song about gay sex. Buckle up! What happened last night? Are you really here? Joan, 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 Joan. That's such a clever opening. Opening with, like, the sound of church bells ringing almost. It sounds like the heavens are opening up for Alison. Which they are, in a way. Hi, Joan. Don't wake up, Joan. Oh my God, last night. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, last night. Did you see how they play with dynamics there? Fortissimo! Piano. Literally, it works because Alison's excited, and then she remembers, shh, I have to be quiet because Joan's sleeping still. But also metaphorically it works because we're jumping around in dynamics, we're jumping around in the singer's range, and all of this jumping around comes together to create this feeling of excitement, of can't contain yourself, this discombobulated joy that she's feeling. So that playing with dynamics kind of works in two ways. And now we settle into a rhythm. I got so excited, I was too enthusiastic. Thank you for not laughing. Well, you laughed a little bit at one point when I was touching you and said I might lose consciousness, which you said was adorable, and I just have to trust that you don't think I'm an idiot. This whole section where Alison is having all of these overlapping thoughts, each thought is building on the last one, and that's matched in the music. As the thoughts build, so does the range of the melody. We start the phrase by going back and forth between two notes. Then we go up to an A flat and back down. Then we go up to a B flat and back down. And then we go up to a high D flat and back down. And then on the next musical phrase, we start the whole cycle again with just two notes. So with each idea, Alison's melody wells up bigger and bigger, and then she catches herself and she brings it back down. And then it wells up even bigger, and then she catches herself and she brings it back down. And it all builds into this. Or some kind of an animal. I never lost control due to overwhelming lust, but I must say that I'm changing my major to Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan. Okay, so much is happening here. This transition is like huge. First, let's look at the lyrics. So the lyrics are showing this major transition from all of these overlapping, discombobulated thoughts that kind of make no sense to this place where Alison can be proud and declare what she feels. And she does it in kind of a quirky, dorky, awkward college kid way, but still, she's proud, you know? Happy Pride! What's interesting to me is that this is the first time in the song where she starts making sense to herself. And that's paired up with it's also the first time in the song where she rhymes. Overwhelming lust, but I must, is the first rhyme in the song. All those overlapping thoughts before it, they don't rhyme with each other. But now as things start to make sense for her, she starts rhyming. Lisa Kron is using the existence of rhyme itself as a storytelling device. That's brilliant to me. And now let's look at the music transition. We move up a semitone from the key of A flat major to the key of A major. And in musical theater, especially, we tend to associate those upward key changes with progress, moving forward, etc., etc. At the same time, we're switching from the time signature 4/4, which has 4 quarter notes in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To 3/4, which is the waltz time signature, so 3 quarter notes in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the tempo slows down a bit as well. So altogether, it comes to create this feeling of like much more solid and grounded, less frantic and gasping for air like we were before. All of that happens in the span of like 1 bar of music. It's a huge transition, and it represents this huge transition that Alison is going through in her life. I also want to point out the fact and kind of bring attention to the fact that the chorus of this song is written in a waltz, because that's not an accident. A waltz is a musical form that in Western culture especially is kind of universally accepted to represent romance. Plus, not only is this written in the waltz time signature, like the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that rhythmic feeling is from a waltz, but also it uses chords that are very similar to chords you find in a lot of famous waltzes. Check this out, for example. 10 minutes ago I saw you, and we murmured our how do you do's. I'm changing my major to Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan. Like, that's a very similar chord structure to 10 minutes ago from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, which is like, Rodgers and Hammerstein are like iconically romantic composers of the classic romantic golden age of Broadway. And Cinderella is one of the most classic, iconic romance stories of all time. So I want you to imagine for me, you're sitting in the audience of Fun Home, and maybe you've been raised to believe that homosexual activity is taboo and shouldn't be talked about. Or maybe even you've just been raised to believe that sex in general is taboo, and explicit content about sex has no place on a Broadway stage. But then suddenly you're hearing a pretty explicit song about lesbian sex. You might be shocked, you might be appalled. But the music is framing it in a musical context that you're very comfortable with. This waltz. And so because you have certain associations with the music, you begin to apply those same associations to the scene you're witnessing. And it might even help you change the way you feel about the scene that you're witnessing. It might help you realize that this topic you thought was kind of taboo and kind of scandalizing is actually natural, wholesome, beautiful, romantic. Like a waltz. Ah. So cute. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan, with a minor in kissing Joan. Foreign study to Joan's inner thighs, a seminar on Joan's ass in her Levi's, and Joan's crazy brown eyes. All of these college-related lyrics make me laugh so much. Changing my major, foreign study, a seminar. But it's great lyric writing because all of the lyrics and all of the metaphors are strictly related to the character and where the character is at in her life, which is college. So now suddenly we're back to the verse, which is 4/4 again. The thoughts are discombobulated again. No rhymes again. We're back to A flat major. So we're basically right back where we started. But that means that we're gonna get to go through that powerful transition again in just a second. And it's gonna be just as powerful or even more powerful the second time. Joan, I feel like Hercules. Oh god, that sounds ridiculous. Just keep on sleeping through this and I'll work on calming down. So by the time you've woken up, I'll be cool, I'll be collected, and I'll have found some dignity. But who needs dignity? Cause this is so much better. Playing with dynamics again. I'm radiating happiness. Will you stay here with me for the rest of the semester? We won't need any food. We'll live on sex alone. Sex with Joan. Again, that's the first rhyme in the whole verse. Alone and Joan. That's what propels us into the chorus. Just like what happened in the first verse with overwhelming lust, but I must. I am writing a thesis on Joan. It's a cutting edge field and my mind is blown. I would gladly stay up every night to hone my compulsory skills with Joan. Whoa, and where did all of these rhymes come from? Suddenly she's rhyming like a billion things. Joan, alone, blown, hone. As soon as her thoughts start making sense, her lyrics start rhyming. It's fantastic lyric writing. It uses the trope of rhyme itself as a storytelling device. This is what people are talking about when they say use rules as tools, or break the rules for a reason, or like learn the rules so you know when to break them. There's an expectation we have in our Western society that songs are supposed to rhyme. And I always say music affects us when it defies our expectations. So when a song isn't rhyming, it puts you on edge, you know, in a very visceral way. We're like, this is wrong. There's supposed to be a rhyme here. This is wrong. And it creates in us that feeling of surprise and discombobulation that helps us relate to a character who might be feeling surprised and discombobulated. But then when the song finally does start rhyming, oh baby, do we feel that sweet release. We feel that relief, like palpably. Oh, thank God, this is how it's supposed to be. Oh yes, thank God there's a rhyme at the end of each line. Oh my goodness. Things finally start to make sense for us. And that helps us relate to a character in a moment when things are starting to make sense for her. It's brilliant. It's just brilliant. I will study my way down her spine. Study, still with the college-related metaphors that's everywhere in this song. Familiarize myself with her well-made outline while she researches mine. Spine, outline, mind. There's so much rhyme in this. Now we enter a new section that we haven't seen before. Because this song follows the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus structure that I've talked about in like maybe 10 trillion of my videos. The verse is the A flat major section in 4/4 with the discombobulated thoughts and the overlapping lyrics with no rhyme, and that's our verse. Then the chorus is that romantic A major waltz where the rhyme comes in. That's the chorus. Now here for the bridge it's different. So we have a totally colla voce section. Colla voce is a fancy Italian term that literally translates to stick to the voice. It's an instruction for the pianist or the orchestra, whoever's accompanying, to follow the singer's impulses instead of following a consistent tempo. So that gives the singer the opportunity to pause whenever they want, go through some lines faster, and then really take their time on some other lines. So it's a little bit more natural, a little bit more like a speech rhythm. And in a musical, colla voce affords the actor the chance to take some dramatic pauses. So it's great for this big moment in Alison's journey. I don't know who I am. I've become someone new. Nothing I just did is anything I would do. Overnight everything changed. I am not prepared. I'm dizzy, I'm nauseous, I'm shaky. I'm scared. Am I falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime? I don't know, but I'm changing my major to Joan. Wow, what a triumph! We land back in that waltz melody, but this time the first few bars are actually in 4/4, so they feel more declamatory, like a march. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it makes it feel so proud. Happy Pride. We're also a semitone higher even than we were before. So remember we started in A flat major and then moved to A major on the chorus? Well, now we're in B flat major. And like I said before, we associate that upward movement with progress, with moving forward. Which brings me to my next point, which is this phrase here. Am I falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime? I don't know, but I'm... A major theme in this musical is that Alison and her father were very similar, but made very different choices. It's identified as a major theme in the very first number because Alison sings this. But now I'm the one who's 43 and stuck. I can't find my way through. Just like you, am I just like you? I can't abide romantic notions of some vague long ago. I wanna know what's true, dig deep into who and what and why and when, until now gives way to then. And the irony of this in the show is that when she sings this in the show, we've actually just heard her father, Bruce, sing something almost identical. In the scene right before this, Bruce is looking at an artifact he found at like a garage sale or something, and he sings this. This has traveled continents to get here, and crossed an ocean of time, and somehow landed in this box, under a layer of grime. I can't abide romantic notions of some vague long ago. I wanna know what's true, dig deep into who and what and why and when, until now gives way to then. So to answer your question, Alison, am I just like you? Well, musically, yeah, you're pretty effing similar. But here's the brilliant part. In this song, Changing My Major, Alison sings this whole chunk about am I falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime? And again, she's singing the same melody and lyrics as her father sings in another part of the show. At the end of the show, right before Bruce commits suicide, this is what he sings. Dear Al, I'm scared. I had a life I thought I understood. I took it and I squeezed out every bit of life I could. But the edges of the world that held me up have gone away, and I'm falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime. It's the same phrase, but this is the even more exciting part. Do you remember where that phrase led to when Alison sang it? It was that major triumphant moment, remember? Or flying into something so sublime. I don't know, but I'm changing my major to Joan. But listen to where that phrase leads when Bruce sings it. Or flying into something so sublime. And I'm a man, I don't know. Who am I now? Where do I go? I can't go back, can't find my way through. So much darker, so different. To start with, Alison sings, but I, going upwards, which, like I said, the upward movement, that sounds like progress. That sounds like moving forward. And Bruce sings, and I'm falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime. And I'm going downwards, back to the same note he was on. He says he's stuck. He can't find his way forward. He can't find his way through. He can't make any progress. He can't move upward. And you can hear that in the music. They're both faced with the same choice, falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime. Bruce falls into nothingness, but Alison flies into something so sublime. And you can hear that different choice in that music. So while they're very similar, they make different choices, and that's how they can end up in such different places. And that's kind of what this whole musical is about, really. It's so brilliant. Changing my major to Joan. I thought all my life I'd be all alone, but that was before I was lying prone in the storm room bed with Joan. Look, she drooled on the pillow, so sweet, all sweaty and tangled up in my bed sheet. And my heart feels complete. Let's never leave this room. How about we stay here till finals? I'll go to school forever. I'll take out a dementedly huge high-interest loan. 'Cause I'm changing my major to Joan. Notice it ends on such a resolved cadence. To Joan, perfect fourth. That's a pretty stable and solid interval there. There's not a lot of tension in that. All of Alison's anxiety and inner conflict has kind of melted away in this moment. It ends with a rhyme. It ends with the perfect fourth, and it also ends on this major chord down here. Like just a plain major triad. So we end the song feeling very uplifted and excited for Alison. Of course, there will be more conflict in the rest of the show, otherwise it'd be a pretty boring show. But for this moment, everything is perfect. And that's illustrated by that perfect fourth, that major chord, the rhyme, all of that. All coming together. Anyways, that's a little bit about changing my major from Fun Home. Happy Pride, everybody. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, you can consider supporting the channel over at Patreon. Or if you like the video, you can comment, share it with a friend. That would be a huge help too, and very, very much appreciated. If you like this video, you can check out a whole playlist of my music theater theory videos up here. And here's another video that YouTube thinks you might like. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, my name is Mateo Lewis, and this has been Music Theater Theory. Oh.